was just, oh, nice. As I was just saying a second ago, I literally only will see you at conventions. We're here at WonderCon in Anaheim. Talk a little bit about, and I asked this of everyone, and I might have even asked you 2 years ago, is there anything that you buy here? Is there anything you collect? Like, is there anything you look for that in these conventions?
Unfortunately, when I come to conventions like this, I never have the time to go on the ground and go looking around. This time I brought my mom and my friend so they can go scour for me. But I'm really into like vintage things. So if there's a vintage comic book or like a vintage t-shirt from when the comic or the movie that came out, like Evil Dead, say, if there was something that was vintage from the first movies that came out, I like that kind of stuff. Not necessarily like cups and memorabilia like that, but anything old.
I understand. As I've already run my set visit coverage, so people know I was on the set of your film. When you look back on the filmmaking process for making Mortal Instruments, what do you wish you could tell yourself on like the first day of filming to sort of get you through? You know what I mean? Like maybe you learned something throughout the filming process.
One of the things probably would be to continue taking arnica pills because I have always bruised quite easily, and the amount of stunts that I did in this movie, coupled with the sometimes lack of costume that I got to wear in it. I'm wearing like a mini dress for half the action sequences, and it's, you know, that is never easy when you're doing action sequences. So I think it was just the making sure that I was really taking care of myself the whole time, as opposed to once I got injured and then quickly. But it was, you know, that we had so many people on set watching out for that kind of stuff. I just think I probably would have prefaced it a little bit more.
Talk a little bit about the actual making of the film. When I was there, I saw you guys doing a pretty good stunt, and you mentioned how many stunts you did. When you got involved with the project, did you know exactly what you were biting off, or was it sort of a little bit of an eye-opening lesson as the filming went on?
Well, I was a fan of the book, so I had read the series before I started shooting, and I knew how much action there was in it. But obviously, when you translate a book to a film, I don't know exactly what's going to be taken out and used. But when I found out that it was the same stunt department that had worked on with me with Mirror Mirror, I thought, oh, those guys are hardcore, so I know that they're going to be giving us some really cool stuff to do. And I had started doing stunts on my second film, so it's something that I've always loved doing and always kind of wanted to do as much as I could. I think, again, when you're coupling it with the wardrobe and then the storyline happening at that time and the stunts they're having you do, you're never quite fully prepared until you've got the outfit on, you're on set, and things change like that, because Harold was all about what happens in the moment as well, and making some of it improv, and if there was something cool happening, just to go with it. So for those things, you can never be fully prepared. You just have to be prepared to be unprepared. So I was always gung-ho for it, but that's when, you know, that's when you get a bump or a bruise, but that's kind of the fun part.
Have you seen a rough cut yet of the film? What have you seen of the film?
I have seen a rough cut of the film. And I'm very, very excited. I'm very proud of it. It's still in the early stages, so like the special effects aren't, you know, fully complete, and the edit's not fully done. But from what I saw, I'm very, very happy.
Now, when Harold obviously took you in the editing room or showed you a version, when you go see that, is he then asking you, like, hey, what? Because obviously you do so many takes, and say you do 5 takes of one scene, and maybe you play it one way in one take and one way another take. So the first time you see it, you're basically seeing your performance. Are you ever, like, remembering a take and you're like, man, I remember this was not the take I was happy with? Harold, let's talk.
What's awesome about Harold is that he is so collaborative, and you know, I know everyone has their roles when it comes to movie making, so he's the director, he makes the choices on certain things. I never want to overstep a boundary, but Harold is so collaborative, and he would sit me down after and say, what did you like, what didn't you like, what do you want to change, was there a take you remember doing better that you liked, what about this part, what about this part? And he truly wants our input. It's not just something that he says. And I didn't watch that much playback during the film because it was so constant and on the move, and I didn't want to waste any time, and if Harold was happy, you know, then that made me happy. So it is a really cool process to work with Harold, because he really does listen and want my opinion or our opinions, and I think that makes it even more of like a collaborative process.
Obviously, you're making a movie based on a book. Things have to change along the way. There's no way to, you know, make it all work. Were there certain scenes that you loved in the book that you were so happy that made it into the movie, or certain scenes, you know, you had to change?
Well, like I said, the edit's not fully done yet, so speaking specifically to things that were cut or not put in there, I don't exactly know yet, but things that did make me happy that made it into the movie are things like the greenhouse scene, because I think that's a scene that everyone's highly anticipating with Clary and Jay since the first time they get together, and just a lot of the fight sequences with the vampires. The way that we translated that into film is really edgy and dark and gritty, and you know, Jamie does a flip in the scene, which he actually genuinely did on the day, and we did all these fight maneuvers with swords and knives and guns, and that to me I'm excited for guys to see, because it's their kind of their action stuff they love. But for the girls that I've talked to that have seen it, it's exciting for them to see too.
Obviously, you premiere the trailer online and in theaters. I'm imagining when you put your heart and soul into making something, you're kind of curious what people are saying. So were you like online the second after the trailer aired or got released and you're like, let's see what people are saying?
It's hard because as much as I want to know what people are saying, it's kind of a catch-22 because when you're so proud of something and you put so much heart and soul into it, and then you get feedback on it and sometimes it's not what you'd want, that sometimes discourages me from doing that for my next project. So I kind of am now in the situation where I can't really avoid people's opinions because I'm running into people on the street anyway that are fans of the book, so I don't really have to actively search out opinions anymore. They're kind of just brought to me, whether I want it or not. But for the most part, I'm very happy with the comments that we've been getting, and especially I'm excited today to release the new trailer because that, I think, is going to go down really well.
My last question for you, because I got to wrap up. Obviously, it's the beginning of 2013. Do you know what you're doing later this year? Are you starting to look at projects?
I am filming a movie called Love, Rosie, based in England. We're shooting it in Dublin this summer with Sam Claflin. And I will be British and aging from, was it like 17 to 28 in the movie. And I have a child. So it's a very big departure from something like this.
I understand. Congrats on everything. I'm looking forward to seeing the new trailer.